This is my Fall 2020 CS61B NBody video presentation for Gold Points. In this project, I've added 4 new core functionalities from the original program, and I will be demonstrating each of these functionalities with various tests. So the first functionality that I have added is elastic collisions between planets. So as you can see in this simulation, our planets are moving under gravitational forces as normal, but they can also collide with each other and elastically bounce off of each other. Now, as there are less planets, the amount of collisions will decrease because it is less probable for any planets to actually collide with each other. But nonetheless, when they do collide, these elastic collisions will still occur. So that is the first functionality that I have added. Now, when two objects collide with each other in this project, they do not always bounce off of each other. So this is the second functionality I've added. If something collides with a sun or a black hole, then that sun or black hole will actually consume the mass of the object that it collides with. So as you can see in this simulation, when various planets fall into the middle sun, the sun will actually consume those planets and will actually take their mass, which means that the sun's gravitational force will increase, and once it reaches a certain threshold, it will become a black hole. So just to see that transition again, these planets will infall to the sun, and they will be consumed by the sun, and once the sun has gained enough mass, it will become a black hole with greater mass and thus greater gravitational force. So you can see how the planets were suddenly affected by the sudden mass increase as it became a black hole. And this black hole will still consume the mass of any planets that fall into it. It's just that in its current state, these planets are very good at orbiting around this black hole. Oh, there goes one. Now, the third functionality I've added is actually a controllable ship. So this ship just moves around and can be moved by the mouse. So the user can use their mouse to point the direction in which the ship should move toward. And it's a very momentum-based ship movement, so you can see that all I can do is say where it should tend to move toward, but it's still subject to the laws of physics as it moves around. You can see the ship will also point toward wherever it is tending to move toward, as dictated by where the user places their mouse. Now, the fourth functionality I've added is another special case collision if the ship collides with something. And in fact, what will happen is the ship will explode. So if the ship collides with a planet, just like it would in real life, the ship is probably a goner. Now, this explosion is different in that it just exists there now. It won't pull in anything, and even though it uses the black hole graphic, this is more to show that the ship has exploded. So you can see that the planets can now just pass straight through it because that sign is nothing more than a symbol showing that this is where the ship has been destroyed. So now it will just sit there in its permanent spot, unaffected by any gravitational forces, and its former gravitational force on other objects is no longer there as well. So in this way, you can have a little fun while trying to avoid any collisions, and that can be kind of difficult because remember, this ship is still under the gravitational forces from all of these other planets, and of course the sun in the middle. And that will get much harder if the sun consumes enough mass to become a black hole, because again, black holes will have greater mass and thus greater gravitational pull. So these are all of the changes that I have added for the NBody project.